hurricanes, or nature's way of telling us you should not be living here. The term hurricane is derived from the Taino Native American word huracane, which means the evil spirit of the wind. The first hurricane that caused people to fly in it occurred in 1943 during World War II. A tropical storm is a hurricane that travels for 74 miles per hour or higher than that, around 120 kilometers. Hurricanes are the only weather disasters, each of them having its own name. The center of the hurricane, which is the eye, can be as huge as 33 kilometers. The weather in its center, the eye, is usually calm with low winds. The eye wall is the ring of clouds and thunderstorms occurring closely around the eye. This experiences the most terrible hurricanes with extremely heavy rains. A huge hurricane can release energy equivalent to 10 atomic bombs per second. Hurricanes also produce mild tornadoes, which can last up to a few minutes. Hurricanes that move slowly are likely to produce more rain, causing more damage by flooding than fast-moving hurricanes. Hurricane Floyd, which was barely a Category 1 hurricane, destroyed 19 million trees and has caused damage of more than $1 billion. Many people die in hurricanes because of the rising seawater that enters the mainland, instantly killing people. Hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean are known as typhoons. In the Indian Ocean, they are typically known as tropical cyclones. The first hurricane of the year is given a name beginning with the letter A, and hurricanes are named because it's much easier to remember the name of a storm than using latitude and longitude. The tracking becomes easy. It also helps prevent confusion when there's more than one tropical storm or hurricane occurring at the same time. The National Hurricane Center was the first organization that started assigning female names to the hurricanes in 1963. However, they stopped this practice in 1978. Starting with 1979, men's names were included on the list. The names are in alphabetical order, excluding the letters Q, U, X, Y, and Z. There are 5 hurricane categories. Category 1, winds from 100 to 152 km per hour, 74 to 95 miles. Category 2, winds ranging from 153 to 177 km per hour, or 96 to 110 miles. This can cause extensive damage, surpassing Category 1 that has just minor damage. They can uproot trees and break windows. Category 3, winds from 178 to 207 km per hour or 129 miles, are devastating, can break windows and doors from homes. Category 4 have winds ranging from 208 to 251 km per hour. The damage is catastrophic, they can tear off roofs. And Category 5, winds going over 252 km per hour. These are the absolute worst that can destroy buildings entirely. The naming scheme of hurricanes today includes English, Spanish, and French names because these languages are most commonly used by the countries in the Atlantic Basin. There are 6 lists of names. Each list is used in rotation every 6 years. A name is retired when the storm caused so many deaths or so much destruction that it becomes insensitive to use the name again. The World Meteorological Organization is in charge of retiring hurricane names and choosing new ones. The headline-making hurricanes of 2004, Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jean, have all been retired. They were replaced by Colin, Igor, Fiona, and Julia. The names of the costliest hurricanes include Katrina, Maria, Andrew, Sandy, Harvey, and Irma. Hurricane Katrina is one of the costliest Category 5 type hurricanes, which has caused damage over $100 billion. Hurricanes mostly occur from June to November, when seas are the warmest and most humid, forming conducive weather for the hurricanes to build up. In the Atlantic Ocean, hurricanes begin from the 1st of June, and in the Pacific they start in mid-May. Both end together towards the end of November. Planet Jupiter also has hurricanes, much different than ours. It has a hurricane that appears as a red dot in it, spinning for the last 300 years. The hurricane is bigger than our Earth itself. Here, hurricanes can have a diameter of 600 to 800 kilometers. A hurricane in Bangladesh in the 1970s took away the lives of 1 million people. This hurricane is supposedly the worst in terms of lost life in the world. In years with an El Niño, fewer tropical storms and hurricanes appear because vertical shear increases during El Niño. The vertical shear can prevent typical cyclones from forming and becoming intense. In years with La Niña, opposite of El Niño, researchers have found that there are chances of an increased number of hurricanes and an increased chance that the United States and the Caribbean will experience hurricanes. Upon entering the land, they bring in strong winds, heavy rains and waves which are strong enough to cause damage like washing away the entire cityscape. These are known as storm surges. Florida is hit by at least 40% of the hurricanes that occur in America. The deadliest hurricane is the Category 4 hurricane that occurred in Texas and Galveston in the year 1990. 8,000 people were found dead by the 15-foot waves, which carried winds traveling for 130 miles per hour or over 200 kilometers, with 5-meter tall waves. It's believed that hurricanes have killed approximately 1.9 million people over the past 200 years. Most of the Category 5 hurricanes occurred in the years 2000 and 2009, with 8. These include Isabel 203, Ivan 204, Emily 205, Katrina 205, Rita 205, Wilma 205, Dean 207, and Felix 207. Stronger hurricanes can reach 40,000 to 50,000 feet up into the sky. A typical hurricane needs 3 things: light upper level winds, warm weather at least 80 Fahrenheit, and pre-existing conditions with thunderstorms to form. It's a myth that opening windows will help equalize pressure in your home when a hurricane approaches. Your windows should be boarded up with plywood or shutters. If your windows remain open, it will just bring a lot of rain into your house and flying debris into your home as well. Don't waste time taping your windows either. It won't help prevent hurricane damage. Hurricane-generated waves frequently toss tons of fish into beaches. The eyes of many of the fish have popped out because of sudden changes in pressure. Christopher Columbus wrote the first known report of a hurricane in 1495. Hurricanes in the southern hemisphere spin in a clockwise direction. Hurricanes in the northern hemisphere turn counterclockwise. The right side of a hurricane in the northern hemisphere is often stronger in terms of winds, tornadoes, and storm surges. With 210 mile/hour winds at landfall, Hurricane Camille from 1969 is the strongest hurricane to strike land. Typhoon Tip 1979, which did not strike land, is considered to be the largest, with tropical storm force winds of 1,400 miles in diameter or over 2,200 kilometers in diameter. Hurricane Andrew from 92 ripped an 80-foot steel beam weighing several tons of a building and flung it more than a block away. Close to 30 meters was its height. 90% of all hurricane deaths result from storm surges, which can reach over 20 feet high and extend nearly 100 miles. In AD 1281, a hurricane killed 100,000 Mongols who were attacking Japan. The Japanese thanked their storm gods for the kamikaze, which means divine winds from the gods. There are several differences between hurricanes and tornadoes. First, hurricanes last several days, tornadoes only minutes, rarely hours. Hurricanes are on average about 2,000 times bigger across than tornadoes. Hurricanes often spawn tornadoes. For example, Hurricane Andrew from 92 spawned 62 of them, and Hurricane Beulah from 67 created 141 tornadoes. Can even occur days after a hurricane's landfall. Hurricanes never combine to form one stronger storm. However, the storms may circle each other, which is known as the Fujiwara Effect. Tornadoes have more intense winds than hurricanes. For example, the fastest recorded hurricane wind speed is approximately 200 miles per hour, or 300 kilometers. Tornado winds can be up to 300 miles per hour, or 450 kilometers per hour. Though the eye is the calmest part of the storm, over the ocean it can be the most dangerous area. While waves in the eye wall travel in the same direction, waves in the eye converge from all directions, which often creates rogue waves. Water must be a certain depth for hurricanes to form, at least 200 feet or 60 meters. Additionally, the water must be warm, over 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius, and a hurricane's strength depends on how warm the water is. The warmer the water, the stronger the hurricane becomes. Since pilots first began flying into typhoons and hurricanes in 1944, only 4 planes have been lost in storms. No trace of these planes or their crew have ever been found. Project Storm Fury was an organization that tried to control hurricanes by seeding them with silver iodide, which would cool the hurricanes. However, the project had little success, and most scientists now have abandoned the idea of controlling hurricanes. They can last up for weeks, but most hurricanes typically last approximately 10 days. During the 20th century, 158 hurricanes of all categories hit the US. Most hurricanes hit Florida, 57 of them, with Texas coming in second with 26, Louisiana and North Carolina each had 25. Hurricanes kill more people than any other type of storm. 36 of the 64 major hurricanes, categories 3 to 5, that hit the US in the 20th century struck in September. August was the second busiest month with 15. A hurricane watch is issued when the storm is 24 to 36 hours away. Earthquakes outnumber hurricanes, according to NASA. Approximately 85 hurricanes, typhoons, and tropical cyclones occur worldwide each year. According to the US Geological Survey, there are 500,000 detectable earthquakes in the world each year, with 100,000 strong enough to be felt and 100 of them strong enough to cause damage. Hurricane John lasted 31 days in 1994, which was longer than any other hurricane in history. It was both a hurricane and a typhoon because it passed through both eastern and western parts of the Pacific Ocean. Hurricanes also seem to be evolving. There are incredible distances from hurricanes that hit the United States. Hurricanes start with a huge complicated butterfly effect that starts over in Africa, in the Sahara Desert, and seems to be evolving as there is an increase in hurricane counts and strength. Voodoo practitioners dropped by 90% after Hurricane Katrina. One of the most surprising impacts of the hurricane. Before its impact, the community had 3,000 voodoo practitioners. The number dipped to 300 after the storm. The Unknown Soldier's Tomb, a monument dedicated to deceased US service members whose remains are not identified, has guards since July 2nd, 1937, for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even Hurricane Sandy can't stop the guards. The mighty guards of the post did not evacuate their positions during the hurricane, even though they had the permission to hide. Instead, they voluntarily chose to stay in the middle of a hurricane. You can survive a hurricane without leaving your home. If you don't have plans in evacuating your house, it is best to stay inside and look for a safe spot away from glass doors and windows, because this might break during the storm. The safest place to hide is under the basement or inside closets. Still, there are a few good things about hurricanes. They stop droughts. May is the least active month of a hurricane, and September is the most active. It's mostly observed during late summer and early fall months, but the advantage of a hurricane is that it can bring a stop to droughts. Although hurricanes can cause terrible damage, they are an important part of Earth's complicated weather system. Like giant fans, they take hot air from the tropics and move it toward the poles. They help balance temperatures and moisture around the Earth. Without hurricanes and other storms, vast areas of the planet would be too hot for animal or human life. And that's all for today. If you have a hurricane name, tell me in the comment section below. If you've ever experienced one, describe the experience in few words if you haven't been left wordless. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I'm Alex, and until next time, beware of the falling apples.